Bruchim haboim. Welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Nun Tes Amud Aleph, 2 lines from the bottom. The Gemara continues to now discuss the various things in the Mishnah that a woman cannot go out with, including certain ornaments. Says the Gemara, quoting the Mishnah, V'lo be'ir shel zahav. Ask the Gemara, my be'ir shel zahav. What is this ir shel zahav that we're referring to? What kind of golden ornament is this? Rabba bar Chana and Rabbi Yochanan, Yerushalayim de Dahava. It's the golden Yerushalayim, an ornament that was engraved that has the likeliness of Yerushalayim. Keda'ova le Rabbi Akiva le Dvisu. Like Rabbi Akiva made, or at least promised his wife when they were in abject poverty, though she came from a very wealthy home, the daughter of Kalva bas Savua, but they lived in abject poverty. And he then encouraged her and he said, when we will then have the means, I will buy you, or I'll make for you a golden ornament that is the likeness of Jerusalem, of Yerushalayim. Tonu Rabbanon loy teitze isha be'ir shel zahav v'im yotzeso chayeves chatos. Div Rabbi Meir. The Brisa says, the opinion of Rabbi Meir is that if a woman were to go out with a ir shel zahav, she'll be chayev chatos. Iser deraisa of hoitzah. V'chachamim omrim lo teitze v'im yotzesa patura. The chachamim argue and say she cannot go out with it, but it's only going to be an iser derabana mideraisa. There's no iser, therefore patur aval oser. Rabbi Eliezer oimer yotza isha be'ir shel zav lichatchila. Rabbi Eliezer is of the opinion that a woman can go out with a ornament, a ir shel zahav, even lechatchila. Gemara now explains the machlekes. B'mai kamifligi. Rabbi Meir sovar masuihu. Rabbi Meir, who says she's chayiv chatos, is because it's a masui. He's of the opinion that this is a golden ir shel Yerushalayim that is not typically worn. It's a very big, heavy piece of gold, and therefore, although it shows one's affluence and prestige, but a woman does not wear it on a garment. She doesn't take it out with her as a ornament. Rather, maybe a person has it on their mantle, but not in a way of then dressing. That's the opinion of Rabbi Meir. V'rabbanan savri tachshid dil mashalfa u'mechavia lei va'asil asuyei. Whereas the Rabbanan hold that it is a tachshid, although it's heavy, but a woman, certain prestigious women, very wealthy women, would sometimes go out with such a golden Yerushalayim. However, because she might then take off the ornament to show maybe a friend, and that walk Dalal Amos in the Rishus HaRabim, the Chacham were concerned about that and said it's Aser Midirabbanan to wear such a golden Yerushalayim. Rabbi Eliezer Sovar Man Darka Lemeipach Be'ir Shel Zav, who is a woman that would go out with such a ir shel zahav, an isha chashuva, a very wealthy lady. The isha chashuva loy mishvala umachfiya. She would not take off the ornament to show a friend. She would wear it to show her prestige, but she would never take it off and show others. And therefore, it's muter lechatchila as a tachshit, according to Rabbi Eliezer. The Gemara now goes on to another type of ornament, klila. Klila is a tachshit that was worn by a woman on her forehead, going from ear to ear on her forehead. And there's a difference in terms of how it was made. There's 2 different types of klila. There's the klila that is a metal klila, gold or silver. And there's also a klila that's made out of fabric, made out of meshi, out of silk, that had studded jewels that were on it. So the Gemara says, klila is a machloikis, whether a woman can go out with a klila. Rav osar ushmuel shari. Rav says it is prohibited for a woman to go out with a klila, whereas Shmuel said it's mutter. The aniska kuli amalo pligi the osir. That which we're talking about, a metal klila, either gold or silver, this metal that goes across her forehead from one ear to the other. Everybody agrees, says this opinion, that it is aser, including Shmuel. Ki pligi de arukta. They're arguing about when it's a jewel-studded fabric, the fabric is silk that has jewels studded on it. Mar Savar Aniska Ikar Umar Savar Arikta Ikar. One opinion that says that it is Aser says that the Ikar part is the jewels studded, and therefore it's likely that a woman will take it off in the Rishus HaRabim to show her friends. Whereas the other one says that the Ikar is the fabric, and therefore there's not a concern to then take it off and show a friend, walk Dalet Amos in the Rishus HaRabim. Rav Ashi Masni Lekula. Rav Ashi explained the machlokes in Rav and Shmuel Gabe Klila Lekula as follows: The aruktok de kuliyamoloi pligi de shori. When it comes to that fabric, that silk that had jewels studded on it, that's the type of klila we're talking about. Everybody, including Rav, says that it is mutter to go out with. Ki pligi de insik de aniska. They're only arguing about when it's made out of entirely gold or silver plate. Mar sovar dilma shalfa umachviya va'asila asuye. Umar sover mand. So one opinion says that maybe she will take it off, and then she will then show it to somebody walk dalat amos rishos harabim. That's the opinion of Rav that says it's osir. Umar sover, but Shmuel says that it's mutter because man darka lemepak beklila. Who is the one who normally would go out with such a klila that's completely silver or gold across her forehead? Somebody who's very wealthy, an isha chashuva. The isha chashuva lo shalfa umechavia. And an isha chashuva would not take it off to show other people, and therefore there's not a concern to then say that she will walk dalat amos in the Rishus HaRabim. Omar le Rav Shmuel bar Chana le Rav Yosef. The Talmud Rav Shmuel bar Chana said to his Rebbe Rav Yosef, Befeirush Amris Lon Mishmei de Rav Klila Shori. You told us Befeirush once upon a time that Rav said Klila is mutter. Now he was reminding Rav Yosef, who the Gemara records in other places that he became very ill and forgot his learning. Subsequently, his Talmidim reminded him of certain statements that he had made. So here, his Talmud Rav Shmuel bar Chana is reminding Rav Yosef that he had said once upon a time that the halacha is, they said in the name of Rav rather, that the klila is mutter to go out with. So that which he said, that Rav said that klila is shari, that only fits according to what Rav Ashi had said before. That Rav Ashi had said that lekula, the arukta, when it's a fabric, everybody agrees, including Rav, that it's mutter for women to go out with the klila. And therefore this, that Rav Yosef said that Rav was matir, that goes together with the opinion of Rav Ashi. Amru leila Rav, the Gemara now brings the following, that they said to Rav, Osa gava rabba arika leneherda umatla v'darash klila shari. There was a great man who was very tall, who came to Neherda walking with a limp, and he taught that the klila is mutter. So again, this statement that they're saying to Rav then fits in very good to what we just said, that indeed Rav heard that from them, from these other students, that said in the name of a Gava Rabbah that indeed a Klila Shari, whereby Rav was Mekabel that opinion. And again, that fits together with Rav Ashi that says, Lekula, the Arukta, even Rav agrees when it's made out of fabric, a jewel-studded fabric, that would be mutter for women to go out with. Now the Gemara brings a Maisa, Omar, Man Gava Rabba Arika, the Itla Levi. Rav said that it must be that they referred to as the Gava Rabba who was limping, that came to Neherda, as Levi. Explains, because Shma Mina Nach Nafshe de Rav Afis. I can derive from here that Rav Afis, he passed away. The Yossi Rav Chanina Bereisha, and Rav Chanina was sitting as the Reisha, as the Rosh Hashiva. V'lo havale inish lelevi lemeis of Gabei. And Levi had nobody to then sit and learn with, therefore he came here. As follows, that after Rebbe's Petira, when he was on his deathbed, he announced that Rav Chanina should be the next Rosh Yeshiva. Now Rav Chanina was a peer of Rav Afis, but Rav Afis was a little bit older than him. So Rav Chanina did not feel comfortable to then take the position as Rosh Yeshiva right away when Rav Afis was still alive, and therefore he allowed Rav Afis, of course, to be the Rosh Yeshiva while he learned outside of the Beis HaMedrash in another place. Levi did not Rav Chanina want him to learn by himself, and therefore he would sit by Rav Chanina and learn together with him outside the Beis HaMedrash. So it says over here that Rav is deducing that in fact it must be that Rav Afis passed away, whereby it opened up the position for Rav Chanina to be the Rosh Yeshiva. And once he went into the Beis HaMedrash to be the Rosh Yeshiva, Levi had nobody therefore to then remain with, and thereby he came here to teach. He came here to then learn. And therefore that's what transpired. That's what how Rav explains it. Ask the Gemara, V'dilma nach nafshei de Rav Chanina, Rabbi Chanina. Maybe it was Rav Chanina who passed away, who was outside the Beis HaMedrash where Levi was, and Levi didn't have his Talmid Chover, Rav Chanina, to learn with, and therefore he came as a result of that. Rabbi Afis kidekoi koi, and Rabbi Afis remains the Rosh Yeshiva. And since Levi didn't have somebody to sit with and to learn with, because Rabbi Chanina passed away, therefore he came over here. The Gemara says, Im Isa, the Rabbi Chanina Shachiv, if it's indeed true, not like Rav is saying, but what you're suggesting that Rabbi Chanina passed away, then Levi Rabbi Afis mechav havachayifle. Although he was more or less a peer Rabbi Afis, but Rabbi Afis was still older, and therefore he would have entered the Beis HaMedrash and then been nichna to Rabbi Afis. It wouldn't be a reason for him to come here. Vesu, and further, the Rabbi Chanina loy sagidi la molich. For Rabbi Chanina, it wouldn't be sufficient that he would not be the Rosh Yeshiva ultimately, just not in the lifetime of Rabbi Afis. The chihave konicha nafshei the Rebbe, because if it wasn't for the fact that Rebbe, when he passed away, Omar Chanina b'Rebbe Chama Yossi Brosh, that Rabbi Chanina bar Chama should be the next Rosh Yeshiva. V'ksibu b'tzadik, and it says by Batzadikim, when they say something, their words are mekuyim, as the pasuk indicates. Vatigzar oimer, and you will utter a decree about the tzadikim, about the tzaddik who utters the decree. Vayokem loch, and it will be done. So the fact that Rebbe, the tzaddik, who made such a decree, ultimately would be coming true, that Rabbi Chanina would be the Rosh Yeshiva. Now going back to our inyan, that was an aside that explained how Rav deduced that indeed this was Levi coming to here because Rabbi Afis passed away. Dorash Levi b'neherdo klila shari, as we said that Levi, when he came, this Gaver Rabbah, he taught that klila is mutter for a woman to go out with. Nofik esrin va'arba klile mikula de neherdo. When he said this and he taught this in Neherdo, that subsequent Shabbos, 24 women went out with a klila on Shabbos based on his psak halacha. Dorash Rabba bar Avua b'mechuza klila shari. He darshan in the wealthy city of Mechuza that a klila is mutter to go out with, and there was many women who could wear a klila. V'nafkuch tam nisari klila mechade mevua, and went out 18 of these klilas, 18 women wearing this klila, even in one mavoa, one alleyway, one area. Says the Gemara weiter, indicating other ornaments. Omar Rav Yehuda Mar Shmuel kamra shari. The ornament of a kamra is mutter. A kamra is a belt, very similar to what we described before, that was on the forehead of a woman from ear to ear, but here it regards the belt. In other words, there's two different types that this belt was made with. Either, similar to what we said before, it was either a golden or a silver type of metal that went around the waist as a belt, or it was a fabric that was studded with jewels that went around the waist. So, Ike da'amri da'arukta, there are those that explain that indeed it was the jewel-studded fabric. V'amar Rav Safra midi dahava atalis muzheves. And he said it's just like a talis muzheves, just like if you have a talis that has gold, that has jewels studded on it, one can go out with it, and we're not concerned that a person will maybe take it off to show somebody else. So to over here, because it's a belt, it's not likely, we have no concern that a person is going to take off the belt because his clothes will fall. Vika da amre da anisko. And there are those who say that this camera was indeed, it's the metal, gold or silver that was used as this belt. Just like an avnei shamalochim, a melech goes out with such a sash, such a belt, so too, Klal Yisrael are b'nei malachim, they are royalty, and therefore it's considered to be a malbush for a Jew to go out with as well. And again, there's not a concern that it will be taken off. Omar leRavina leRav Ashi, kamra ilave hemyana mai. If you put a kamra on top of a pre-existing belt, so that there's now two layers, there's a regular belt, and then on top of that is the kamra, what would be the din? Can a woman go out with such a kamra? Omar le trehem many kamris. There are two different belts that you're saying, meaning to say that therefore for sure it's a masui because not being used as a belt, and therefore it is usur.